Hi all, welcome back to our next videos. In previous videos, we have seen how to create a free Google Cloud account and followed by some other video where we have seen how to create a Kubernetes cluster using Google Kubernetes engine. And today we are going to deploy our first application on this Kubernetes cluster. Okay, so let's start. We will deploy our application to this Kubernetes cluster in just 5 simple steps. So let's start with the first step to create a simple Hello World Spring Boot application. Okay, now as I said, we will simply create a simple Spring Boot application having just an Hello World. Okay, now I hope you already know how to create a Spring Boot application. So in this application, you can see it is just having a simple REST controller which have an URI dash hello dash world, and that's it. There is nothing, and this is just an main class. So we do not have anything in this controller from the code perspective. Then we will just see some configuration. On configuration side, I just added application.yaml where I have set the dev profile, and now because of this dev profile I need to add application-dev.yaml where I can add the configuration required for the dev profile, right? So at this moment I just set the port number, server port number to 8081. That's it. We do not have anything else. Okay, and then we need to deploy this application using Docker image. So we need a Docker file. So in this Docker file, as you can see, it is just a simple Docker file where we just need an OpenJDK to build this application. Then we need a temporary storage, which we will set at /tmp. Then we need to expose this application at port 8081. So we are using expose 8081. Then when we build this application, it will create an jar file. So we are just renaming it to app.jar. And then at the end, we are just executing this app.jar by passing a profile dev. That's it. A simple Docker file. So we will run this application on locally only just to make sure that everything is working fine. So just run as Java application. Our application, our server is coming up. And yeah, now application is started at port number 8081. Now let's try to hit our URI. Now, as you can see here on the REST controller, our URI is hello-world on port number 8081. So I'm here and just typing localhost 8081 slash hello world. Fine. And yes, our application is running fine. Okay, and then we are ready with our first step. We have created a simple Hello World Spring Boot application. Then in next step, we need to create a Docker image. And for that, we will again come back to our application. I will just copy the path of this source like this. Yeah. Okay. And I will just open my CMD and I just said CD, go to that path. Now why here? Because in this path, I have my Docker file. Yeah, this one. Now Docker is already installed on my machine. So what I will do, just come to this folder, and here I said Docker build. So it will take the Docker file from my current folder and it will just build using Docker build Docker build command. Now it will take some time first time because now it will download all the OpenJDK libraries. Okay, then build is ready. Now let's see our Docker image by adding the command like Docker images. Okay, now as you can see, we can see two images. One for the OpenJDK, which we use in our Docker file, which was our first statement from OpenJDK. So it has to download that OpenJDK image as well, and then this is the image that is created for our application. Okay, and then we are done with our second step. We have created our Docker image. Now in third step, we need to push this Docker image to Docker Hub. Now you might have already know what is Docker Hub. So Docker Hub is a repository server provided by Docker where you can find thousands of images which you can pull to use it. And also you can upload your own images if you want to access it anywhere. So I have already logged in to my Docker Hub. As you can see here, I am already logged in there, and you can see there are thousands of images which you can directly pull and you can just access or use it anywhere. Now we need to push our Docker images which we have already created to this Docker registry. So we need to log in to this Docker registry from our command prompt first. Then come to our command prompt, and here you have to log into your Docker registry first by using command docker login. Enter. So it will ask you username and password. Now let's see if it will ask me. Yeah, no. So I had already logged in first time, so it didn't ask me again. But when you will log in first time, it will ask you the username and password. So you just have to pass username password, then it will just connect to your Docker registry. Okay, and now we are connected to Docker registry. Okay, and then we will give a specific name to our Docker image. For that, we will just see our Docker images. Okay, now as you can see, we have not given any name to our Docker image. So for that, we just type the command like docker tag and then a specific tag name or name to our Docker image. Now, as you can see, Handesagar is my username of Docker registry slash and repository name, which we have to give, followed by colon and version number. And before that, we just have to pass our Docker image ID. Yeah, and that's it. Let's see. Okay, now tag is created on our Docker image. Now let's verify it. Yes, now you can see for our image ID, now this is the name or the tag name, Handesagar slash hello world REST API. Okay, tag is ready, and then we need to push this image to our Docker registry. So for that, type command docker push and tag name. That's it. Press enter. Now it's pushing to our repository. Now you can see here. Okay, as you can see here, now it is pushed to our Docker registry. Let's come to our Docker registry page and let's see there repository. And as you can see, just refresh it. Yeah, updated a few seconds ago. So see, Hello World REST API image is now available on our Docker registry. Okay, and then we are done with our third step. We have pushed our Docker image to Docker Hub. Then in the next step, we need to connect to the Kubernetes cluster. Now we have already created our Kubernetes cluster in previous video. So I just log in there on the Google Cloud, and now you can see this is the cluster which we have created in previous videos. Now we can see some basic information like location, cluster size, CPUs. We got 3 CPUs when we created this cluster, and total memory we got 11.25 GB. Now if I click here, you can further see some more details about this cluster. Yes, you can just go through it once, and then you can also see some details regarding nodes. We got 3 nodes, and you can see some difference in the memory requested and memory allocated here because Kubernetes keeps some memory for his own work. Okay, and then we need to connect to this cluster. Okay, and to connect to this cluster, just click here, select this cluster, go inside to this cluster, and then you can see Google has provided some facility to connect to our cluster using Cloud Shell. Just click this option. You can see Cloud Shell terminal is open at the bottom of your screen. Yeah, it is up now. You can also change the preference of this terminal, but I would like to have it in the separate window, so I will click here, and now you can see the terminal is ready on new window. Yeah, now you can see it. Okay, now you can see Cloud Shell in a separate window. Now we have to connect to this cluster. And how to do that? Just come here and now you can see there are some option like to connect. Just click there and you can see this command. Just copy it. Yes, it is copied now. Come to our another window and paste it here. Yes. Now you can see here it is actually a Google Cloud command. G Cloud. It is Google Cloud command and this is the our cluster name. Then this was the zone which we have selected while creating our cluster. And this project dash confident run 262410. This is actually the ID of our project. Now if I come here, I will just say okay. This is my project. Just click here. Yeah, here. And now you can see confident dash run 262410 is the name or sorry ID of our project. I said cancel. Again coming back to our terminal. Yeah, you can see confident run 261040. Okay, and then press enter and then you can see we are connected to the cluster, right? Now we have to use kubectl command to create our deployment. So kubectl. Now this is the kubectl command which is used to interact with the Kubernetes. Just check here, kubectl version. Fine. So everything looks good. So we can see some client version, we can see server version, and so on. Now we have to create our first deployment of our application, and for that I will just copy one command which I have already copied to my notepad, and the command is kubectl create deployment. Okay, now we have to create new deployment. Then as you can see here, hello world REST API. Now this is the deployment name or the new deployment which we are creating. Dash dash image is equal to the image name Hande Sagar / hello world REST API 1.0.1. And if you remember, this is the same image which we have already pushed to Docker registry, right? And then just press enter. Yes, now there was some typo mistake. Now you can see this is the corrected command now, and I press enter and you can see the deployment is created now. Okay, and then we are done with our first deployment. We have created our service in Kubernetes cluster. Now we have to expose the service to the external world. And how to do that? For that we have to use some other command. I will just copy it from notepad and just paste it. Now you can see kubectl expose. Now this is the command which we need to use to expose our service to the external world. It's kubectl expose. Deployment name is hello world REST API. It is the same name as you can see here. This is our deployment name. Type is equal to load balancer. Now if you don't know type, maybe we will discuss it in the upcoming videos, but for the moment you can just consider that we need to provide some load balancing facility to our service. That is why we use the type is equal to load balancer, and port is equal to 8081. We need to expose our service to 8081. Press enter. And we did some spelling mistake here. Yeah. Yes, now our service is also exposed. Now let's see on the UI. Now come back to our UI. Now on services and ingress, you can see the service is up. Just click on endpoints and click here and just add /hello world, enter. And now you can see, woohoo, our service is ready and deployed on the cluster. So this is how we have deployed our first application to Kubernetes cluster. Thanks for watching this video. Please like it and subscribe it. See you in the next video. Bye bye.